Vikings fall to 3-3. I wonder what we're going to talk about tonight. Happy Tuesday, Vikings fans. Thank you guys for being flexible with the schedule here. But yeah, Sunday, a couple days. It was a good thing we waited till Tuesday, a couple days just to kind of let the waters cool down, kind of see where this team is at right now. Either way, Vikings fall 28-22 to the Philadelphia Eagles at home after the bye, falling to a 3-3 record, 1-2 at home, which is never great. You got to try to find a way to win your home games. But at the end of the day, this team had multiple opportunities to win this game. Even with the explosive plays that the defense led up and the missed opportunities on offense, there was still an opportunity at the end of the game to win this, and they just didn't find a way to get it done. Multitude of reasons that we'll talk about tonight. But the main one, I think we can all, if you can't agree on this, I just don't really understand it. But Carson Wentz was, for me, the main reason this game was lost. Yeah. Look, early first half, I understand the chunk plays in the second half by the defense. But early on in the game, this defense did the best it could to keep us in this game. And 6 red zone opportunities and only 1 conversion for a touchdown is unacceptable, especially for a team that have been playing well in the red zone up to this point. And again, we'll get into all the reasons that the red zone didn't work out, because I know there's going to be multiple differing opinions on that. But at the end of the day, Carson Wentz just didn't get it done when he needed to. An open receiver, you missed him. He was off. He was honestly off from the jump of this game. So I don't know, frustrating. But again, it's just the fact that this team had a chance to win, regardless of everything that happened. It was still kind of crazy to me. But I don't know. What were your thoughts coming out of this one? And now that we've had a couple of days to kind of sit back, I didn't watch the highlights. That's it. So screw that.
Before I jump into it, let's do some shout outs here. We had our good boy Riley in the building early today, really early, 4 o'clock, a couple hours ago. Salute the Vikings. Some guys early this time. Let's go. Welcome in. JD. SKOL, baby. SKOL. You're supposed to say SKOL me up, right? What up, Kinetic? Welcome in, young Smokey, our guy. Yeah, I'm still salty over this one. What else we got in here? I saw what was this? Cody. The Vikings are swaft. Soft. Oh, that's what it's soft.
And look, I get this, but also there was wide open receivers on all, and I get, like, you put Carson Wentz out there to get hit on a lot of those dropbacks, 42 passes when you're in the game pretty much the whole time. I get that. And I agree. Like, in certain situations, he does need to run the ball more. But at the end of the day, though, like, on all the plays, there are wide open receivers that Carson Wentz is missing. So yes, you can blame it a little bit on not running the ball enough. But even on the pass plays, there was open receivers that were missed by Carson Wentz. So you can't tell me this game is not on Carson Wentz that we lost this.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You can't say it better than Nick right here, because he's right. Like, I don't get why we didn't run on 2nd and 1, and then you kind of get why you don't do it on 3rd and 1, because you just didn't do it on. Like, I think Kevin O'Connell does that a lot, where he just maybe trying to get a little cute with it or whatever, try to throw on 2nd and 1 or whatever. But at that mindset, you should be like, no matter what, we're running at least 2nd or 1 or 3rd or 1 or whatever. But I think sometimes he gets himself, like, he runs it on 2nd 1, and there's kind of that mindset of like, well, of course they're going to think that we're going to run on 3rd and 1, and then he ends up not doing it again. I think that can be an issue. But I think whenever you're 2nd and 1, you just got to do it. You just got to do it. But just like Nick said, that was my only gripe with Kevin O'Connell. Like, you're in this, and we can just jump into this game in general here. But you're in the red zone 6 times. How often do you want the Vikings to get in the red zone? You were in there 6 times and you scored a touchdown once. And a big reason was not Kevin O'Connell's play calling. Like you said, it was Wentz missing throws. Like, there's literally a low light TikTok or whatever going viral on that. So it's like, how do you blame that on Kevin O'Connell? I don't care if you're the best play caller in the world. If your quarterback can't hit his throws, I don't know how you expect to win. The fact, like, this is a game that we should have won. And I know coming in here, I was kind of on the other side of things going into this game. I picked us to, well, I don't even say that. I didn't pick us to lose. I thought we might lose in a completely opposite way than the way we did. But this was a game we absolutely should have won if we took advantage in the red zone of open receivers, open tight ends, like even the TJ Hawkinson. And I know a lot of people are mad about that. And regardless of whether you thought he caught it or not, he shouldn't have had to lay out the way he did for it. He was wide open in the back of the end zone. So that's just another example. And that's why, obviously, one thing for the title of this video or stream is, one thing we know for sure is Carson Wentz is in it. And I think all the fans know that by now. And then that's the thing is, like, at the end of the day, Carson Wentz is a backup. We called him off the couch to come here. I think people's expectations were way too high for Carson Wentz, and I get it because there's a lot of talent on this team and things like that. And
what KOC has done in the past with quarterbacks too, I think had something to.
I thought there's a good chance that Wentz would look pretty good, and he's been up and down. I mean, I'm not gonna say he's been totally trash, but he's definitely not been like a starter quality. There's not even
Darnold
doesn't make you a Super Bowl contender. There shouldn't be a soul left in Vikings fandom that are like, we should just let Carson play out here. This is like, even the biggest JJ McCarthy hater at this point, either you're thinking of trading for somebody or you're starting JJ McCarthy. And I think that's kind of where we're at. And we're going to get into quarterback stuff specifically in a little bit here. What's going on, Nors? But yeah, what's up, Delton? What fucked us up is not breaking the huddle consistently until 17 seconds. Yeah, we need to stop doing all that kind of stuff too. No aggression, calling game, not to lose. And yeah, I like that too. And that's kind of something that we've kind of always done too. And we've talked.
I would say for sure. I mean, on defense, we did that a couple times. Like, I feel like on defense, we called the game not to allow the big play. Like even on the first AJ Brown touchdown, like we rushed 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And we had 8 guys deep in, like, and then you're expecting Metellus of all people to cover AJ Brown.
Yeah,
like,
I know. Right.
That was just like, I was baffled by some of the defensive calls in this game as well.
Yeah, that was a crazy one because, yeah, like you said, why Metellus? But you're rushing 3 and you have a safety on AJ Brown. You should have a safety 100% over the top and at least a cornerback. You should be double covered in that specific play.
It was really strange.
Yeah, I don't know what the strategy was there, but if you're not going to rush full on blitz, then you better put.
Right?
What's that?
That was 4. That was a 4th and 4 play.
Right? I don't remember. I know there's 2 of those type of
I think
plays.
that one was. I think that first touchdown was a 4th and 4. I don't know. It was really, really strange.
Yeah. Young Smokey with the $20. Appreciate you, brother. It's just so painful to watch Daniel Jones and Sam plus Drake May playing so well. Y'all know we tried to pry Drake for the Pats' hands. It's not setting right, we know, but it's both 8 quarters of JJ, and we just hope and pray. Yeah, and I'm still on team. When it comes to JJ McCarthy, he hasn't had enough time. He's still like, the fact that everyone wants to say he's played 8 quarters and and I've said this before, he's played 8 quarters. He's had 1 good quarter. And I'm like, you're weighing that 1 good quarter. You're talking about literally the greatest quarter in NFL history for a first game of a quarterback ever. And I'm like, you can't weigh that. Like, the fact that everyone's just weighing that this is the same as every other regular quarter. Don't get me wrong. I think he could have looked better. There's all kinds of things going on in that scenario there. But as far as Sam, actually, no, I'll let Casey jump. I want to say the Drake May thing. I get it. I just want to say I get it. I'm a salty person when it comes to stuff too. I hate, and I'm like, cool. I want everybody to do well, only if like JJ McCarthy does well. But it's like, it is annoying when we've been banking on this quarterback, and if he doesn't work out, but then you see the Bo Nix, the Drake May, Sam Darnold goes crazy and Daniel Jones goes crazy. Obviously, that will be an annoying situation.
Right. And look, I'll pull that back up for 1 second here. I was team Drake May. I wanted us to try to find a way to go up and get him. I think Drake May is playing very well and is going to be a very good quarterback. But I did see it today. If you look at his schedule so far this year, lost to the Raiders. Raiders are trash. Win over the Dolphins.
Dolphins trash.
Lost to the Steelers. Beat the Panthers. Beat the Bills in Buffalo. That's a big win.
Right.
Beat the Saints. Beat the Titans.
Wow. Really? That's what the schedule was?
Like, look,
so that's like 5 of the worst teams in the NFL.
Yes, for sure. He's playing well. Yes. But the schedule is not very tough. And then I look at me and you said it multiple times. We said it all last season. Like, when the season ended, we knew we probably weren't going to bring Darnold back. We both said, I hope he plays well somewhere else. And B, we think he's going to play well. Like what he's doing right now in Seattle is not a surprise to me, right?
No.
Daniel Jones. But then here's the thing, but there were Vikings fans after that, those last 2 games, they said, oh, Darnold just lost a lot of money, insinuating it's like, well, he's still going to get paid, but he ain't going to get paid as much as he would had he won those playoff games, right? Or the game against the Lions won a game in the playoffs. Then you look at Daniel Jones. I said this last week. He goes to the Colts, and every fan in the NFL is saying, oh man, look at that quarterback room, Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson. Oh, that's a bad one. Colts fans like, well, if Richardson can't beat Daniel Jones, his career's over. So it's like, look, there's two, like, first off, like no one thought Daniel Jones would be doing what he's doing right now, right?
Right.
And then Sam Darnold, you felt like we were going to go with the young quarterback. And there's 2 things about it. One, hindsight's always 20/20, right? Like you can look back and think of what we could have done. I mean, that's what Dan Graziano did for ESPN. Like, oh, I was one of the guys who said they made the right move going with JJ McCarthy. Well, now I'm kind of flipping that, and I think that they probably should have stuck with Sam Darnold, right? Like hindsight's 20/20. You can look at everything back in the past. Man, had we done this one other thing, it might have turned out well. And the second thing is we didn't. Guess what? Daniel Jones with the Colts, Sam Darnold with the Seahawks. Can't change that now. Everybody wants to just keep hammering on that. Well, we should have done this. We should have done that. Well, guess what? They didn't. They went with the move that they were planning ever since they got here. Find a good time to draft your quarterback. Let him develop. And yes, Injuries have played a major part in that. But at the end of the day, we can't bring those 2 to the team right now. So we need to just leave all that in the past, because that doesn't, what Sam Darnold, Daniel Jones being here, that doesn't matter anymore. What does matter is they have a 22-year-old quarterback who's on the mend from an ankle injury that they believe in and they think will develop into a good quarterback. So let's stop all the Sam Darnold, Daniel Jones bullshit, because it doesn't matter.
It ain't gonna stop.
What does matter is what we're going to be doing right now with the young quarterback that we have on the mend, and hopefully starting next week against the Lions. Like that's all we can do right now is hope for his development. Like there's really not much else we can do about any of that other stuff.
Yeah. And just back to the Sam Darnold thing though, I still want to say, like, I don't care what I went through all the noise last year with Sam Darnold when he was playing well, and I knew the Vikings had to stick with their plan that they were doing. They drafted a quarterback, the rookie contract, and everybody saw, like, and the funny thing is from somebody, like, there was one week where I felt like I was like the last one left as far as like, hey, like the Vikings still have to stick to their plan, even though Sam Darnold was playing out of his mind. He beat the Packers the way he did. And then one thing I always said is, like, I want to see him in playoffs. I want to see him win these big games. And then he ends up losing the biggest games of the year for him, and arguably probably the 2 biggest games of his entire career. Played super bad. And everybody changed on him big time. And even me, I was just chilling in the same spot or whatever. And, you know, maybe I was thinking, which I that's what I was waiting for. And I didn't think he was going to do that for sure, but I wanted to see. But I also wasn't thinking like, oh, he's going to be completely trash now and he's going to go somewhere else and suck. Like, I 100% still to this day feel the same exact way about Sam Darnold. I think he's a good quarterback, especially after seeing him last year. And I still need to see him go and win playoff games. I need to see him, like, so this whole conversation that the Vikings should have paid Sam Darnold $30 million and kept him around or whatever, like, that doesn't even matter to me whatsoever. We literally watched him play this well last year. It does not matter to me unless we see him go out and play really well in playoff games, win playoff games, or even go and, like, if he wins the Super Bowl, then yeah, we probably made a mistake. If he goes in playoffs and he's looking like a top 5 quarterback all throughout playoffs, then we can talk. But until that happens, I don't get why, like the conversation just doesn't make any sense to me, because that was the number one reason. Who cares that he's playing good in the regular season? We watched him play this good last year in the regular season. Yeah. It all came down. It's just like everybody's just going with the flow. Everybody forgets the reason why. And hope maybe Sam Darnold goes in there and he balls out and we're like, hey, he just needed he didn't have a lot of reps in those situations in his career, which he hasn't, or whatever. And maybe that happens. And then maybe we did make a mistake. But at this point, until he shows that in playoffs or big games, the whole conversation doesn't really matter to me. Same with last year with that conversation of whether the Vikings should re-sign Sam Darnold or not. I wanted to see how he looked in playoffs.
Right. And I mean, I get this, but, like, he's probably going to do this. He might win. I think he can win a playoff game this year. I don't think he's going to look bad. We won't know. Like, you can't be saying that type of stuff till we actually see it. And
we all said that last year.
I'm just going to hammer. I'm just going to harp back on the KOC hate I'm seeing here. Like, I'm sorry. I understand everybody's entitled to your own opinion. I just don't get it. I mean, he's Mike Zimmer 2.0. Like, Zimmer did not have modern day leadership skills. I don't think Zimmer had leadership skills to begin with. KOC, you can't sit here and tell me that KOC is Mike Zimmer 2.0. It doesn't make any sense. And nothing but a glorified quarterback coach, a never call plays, whatever.
He has the most comebacks in NFL history.
Egotistical, narcissistic jerk off, smart guy. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Look, you guys are entitled to your own opinions. I respect that. But at the same, I just look at it in a totally different way. Like, I think he's brought an attitude to this team where they fight till the end. Like, even this game, like they're in every game they play. Every time. I don't get it. I don't get the Kevin O'Connell hate whatsoever. It just doesn't make any sense.
No, I don't know. Like you said, like that, the fact, like people do not give him credit for the fact that this team fights to the end, to the point that every game we're always in, no matter what. Like, I don't care what Viking fan you are at this point with under Kevin O'Connell, you have to think there's still a way you can win this game, because we've seen him do it so many times when it comes to Kevin O'Connell. And just like Nano said, and we mentioned this earlier, just like Nano said here, it's like, I don't know how people left that game blaming it on Kevin O'Connell. And I said this, we were in the red zone. How many coaches get to the red zone against the Eagles 6 times?
Yeah.
Not a ton.
No,
not a ton are doing that.
Damn good defense.
Yeah.
We were moving the ball, and we were moving the ball effectively all day long until we started turning it over.
Addison should have had an easy long touchdown. That was a bad throw to the right side of the sideline there. Like, that would have been that was a good play call. I don't know if it's all Kevin O'Connell or Jordan Addison, but Jordan Addison completely wide open by himself, standing there doing nothing, and Wentz throws away to the right. Like that could have been a really good play call. I'd have to go back and just see what it looked like. But that's why I'm like, I don't know how you blame Kevin O'Connell on that one.
Yeah.
Like, what do you do? Kevin O'Connell I give Kevin O'Connell, like, I give him a break personally. Don't get me wrong. I think there's moments where he definitely needs to run the ball more and stick with it. I also think that he can come in games hotter, and definitely the mid sides, 5 deep. Yeah,
that's the point we're trying to make.
Wentz missed all his throws.
There's open receivers that he's missing in the red zone,
including TJ Hawkinson, laid out wide open sitting in the back there, bro. Yeah, there's so many. That was on Carson Wentz.
So you're kind of proving our point here. He got us to the red zone that many times, and the fact we couldn't convert, that's on Carson Wentz multiple times.
There's a low light video of him missing all those throws.
There's one throw. He takes the ball, looks to his left, misses Addison, and then he's even turning around, throwing his arms in the air like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
And that would have been a first down. That extends a drive. And then there's another one where he takes a snap where he dunked it just for an intentional grounding. Like, he's got CJ Ham wide open.
Yeah.
And cool. Exactly this. Yes, sure. If you want balance, that's fine. We were moving the football. At the end of the day, I thought that's all that matters. Cool. Yeah. He doesn't run the ball enough. That's fine. We do need to run the football more.
Right.
But that doesn't make any sense. This does not make sense to me.
No, now we got to the red zone. People are mad. There's 48 passes, but at the end of the day, you were in the red zone 6 times.
Yeah. And guess what? You know how you get into the red zone? You move the ball.
Yeah. It was, and again, this isn't Carson. This is high people have put too much expectation on Carson Wentz, thinking he was going to come in here and look like Sam Darnold. And at the end of the day, like, he's where he's at in his career for a reason. So it's unfair to, like, even trash. I think it is unfair to, like, kind of trash Wentz to this extent, but it does make you angry when you're watching this game and people still want to blame that on Kevin O'Connell. It doesn't make how do you blame that on Kevin O'Connell? What do you want him to do? Like, if your quarterback can't throw wide open receivers, I don't care how good of a play caller you are.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, cool. Yeah, be pissed he doesn't run the ball enough. Whatever.
Which I think is, like, that's a fair criticism. I think and Nick said that right at the top there. The 2nd and 1 and 3rd and 1. Like, why do you not? You should have, like, it's 1 yard. Go for it on 1 yard. Push. Well, and then I don't care.
There's even another play where they throw it to Jefferson, perfectly called play, and Cooper DeJean makes a better play. Jefferson 9 times out of 10 brings that ball in. Like, I don't know. I don't think. Yes, you could probably say maybe we have better shot at scoring with running the ball down there, but the plays were open. And Carson Wentz just missed them. Like, at the end of the day, sure, maybe you run the ball, maybe you score another one of those touchdowns or 2. I don't really know, but It's just
a 40 miss wide open. Yeah, all day. Yeah, that's what like the Kevin, like maybe in some of those red zones, maybe some of the play calling wasn't the greatest by Kevin O'Connell. But I'm like, how many opportunities do you need? Like, and I get some of the criticism. We're on team Kevin O'Connell overall. We think he's a great leader. I don't like the fact that people don't give him enough credit for that is crazy to me. Even though it's fair when the people are like, well, then he could give up play calling. I'm like, that could work. Okay, fair. And I do think he could start faster in games, and but I've never seen a head coach who calls games as good as he does when you're behind. It's on another level. That's different. And I think that should be getting some sort. I don't think you shouldn't, like, a good head coach doesn't need to let games get to that. And that's something Kevin O'Connell continuously needs to work on. But when that does happen, Kevin O'Connell is one of the best play callers in the league when you are behind and you need to go win this game. And that's he's no coach has even, I don't even think there's a coach close to him on comeback wins since he's been a head coach.
Yeah. I mean, and you could, look, he's one of those guys that if something were to happen drastically this year and he gets fired, like he's going to be one of the first head coaches hired in the next hiring cycle. So
he changed the whole culture. The culture, like, people talk about the culture, people call him soft, people say all those things, but at the end of the day, like, he created a culture where your team believes they can win at any point in the game. Like, I don't care if it's against the Colts and you're down by 30-0 or whatever it was. Like, and your team still believes they can win and then goes and does it. Like, the fact that culture has been built into that locker room is fucking insane. And I don't like that is not what it was with Mike Zimmer. People were quitting on Mike Zimmer. Like, that's the difference. That is leadership by Kevin O'Connell. That's why he's such a great head coach. I think that's the biggest thing besides the whole quarterback thing. And I do think it is fair to call some of his games not the best calls and he could play, his play calling could be better. Fair enough. This game was not that for me. And I was really surprised to see how many people left that one and just felt like that was on Kevin O'Connell.
Right. And I will say, like, again, when you pass the ball, you had that many dropbacks. Yes, it is going to lead to your quarterback taking hits. And that was a big thing with Wentz. I feel like he got a little gun shy after all the hits that he took. So that is fair as well. But when something I will say about his play calling, though, is when this does get back to JJ McCarthy, call it more like you are now, maybe with more runs, and not as much as you were in those first couple games where it felt like you were trying to overprotect him by calling kind of just really boring, bland, vanilla preseason plays. Like, and
it is fair that he can be a little like soft with stuff like that too. Even with JJ, like even not playing JJ in preseason, I think that's fair. I think Kevin O'Connell, in those senses, I think Kevin O'Connell can be. No coach out here is just absolutely perfect. Like what Kevin O'Connell has done so far, I don't know. That's why I'm like, I can't. It's like he's done. Like I just can't imagine you go find another coach and it just everything is better now. It just I don't. I think he's good overall. Yeah. But he has some things he could work on for sure. But the play call, that's one thing, and I'll say that's fair too. That's been one thing that's been weird throughout this whole season as well. Is like we're always. Like we need to pick up the pace. That's one thing too, is I don't know why Kevin O'Connell doesn't keep that. He needs to keep that pace going throughout the game. Because when I said before, when we're behind, that pace is going. Obviously it has to. And that's when Kevin O'Connell is at his best.
Yeah. I don't know. I just, look, I get it. I get some of the criticisms, but at the end of the day, like you had opportunities to win this game. The offense was put in prime position multiple times.
Right.
I mean, what more can you ask for? I mean,
we should have have three more touchdowns in this game.
Like this to me was shades of the Lions game where we got down to the red zone. Then when we got down there wasn't good enough quarterback play. The Lions game last year, the last game with Sam Darnold, like it felt like that to me, where it's like we moved the ball well enough to get into scoring position, and they just didn't make enough plays on offense to convert those.
Yeah, but Will the Thrill, baby, that dude still has not missed a kick this year. I don't care what anybody says. So it's not missed a kick, but no, man, he's been on fire. 5 for 5 is insane.
And this I will agree. So when McCarthy does come back, exactly, just let him play, let him learn, let him develop. Like just call the game like you normally would. And that's and look, and I will say when McCarthy's in there, probably do lean into the run a little bit more because that's just going to make everything easier for your offensive line, quarterback, all of it. So yes, like I will say I do agree with the fact that he probably does need to lean into the run more because that was a big reason why we went out and altered the offensive line was to be able to control the line of scrimmage better. And a lot of that does have to come down to the run game. So yes, so I understand wanting to run the ball more in the red zone. I get that. But I just look at this game and just realize how much we were in the red zone, not being able to convert. And there were open receivers, open plays that Carson Wentz just didn't hit. And maybe those plays change if you do run the ball more. I guess. But at the end of the day, I just thought there was opportunities with the way this game was called to win, and the execution just wasn't there. And most of the executional problems were your quarterback just missing throws, and it was all game long. It was the first drive to last. He was missing plays all game long, wide open receivers. So I don't know. And look, so I get it. It's fair to criticize, and it's because that was a big thing. We thought he would lean in. I thought for sure he'd run the ball more than he has. Especially because it was working. Like we were picking up chunk yardage, and you do go away from that. So I get that, but we were in position to win this game multiple times. We just didn't come through. And I guess that's enough on the. I guess if you want, we could probably highlight some other offensive performances. With all the passing, someone had to catch those balls, and Addison continues.
Another guy I have most of the fan base want to get rid of.
I keep seeing his name pop up in trade rumors, and I just don't understand.
Bro,
9 catches, 128 yards.
Good, dude.
Again,
he is so
you want to talk about
good.
it. You want to talk about there could have been another probably 30 yards added onto that and a touchdown if Carson Wentz hits him in stride when he's wide ass open. Like I don't think that's a point. Like I would honestly kind of like Steve Rosenberg go out there, but I get why they're not.
We'll circle back to that because that's one of our main topics here.
I do like that,
but let's just run through this game real quick because I do want to get that.
I agree with too. Like this, and look, because we threw a slant. We threw a slant to Justin Jefferson that he took and converted. So I agree with this as well, for sure. He doesn't. He loves 7-step drops. So I will admit to that as well. To where you have Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. If you run quick slants all day long, one of those guys is going to shake open, and you're probably going to get a conversion. So this I will agree with as well. Like
especially
integrate more of that type of offense. Especially
when going back to saying Kevin O'Connell is really good when we're behind. He's doing a lot of stuff like that. Yeah. The game's just quicker, like quicker passes. It does surprise me that he doesn't make that part of the game plan more. So and same thing here. But just going back to this game, because I do want to talk about Addison because everybody wants to trade him, and I get it. I give him, like I've said before, I give him 2 strikes and a foul ball. I don't give him 3 strikes. I don't think he's out. But he is so good. His way of separating isn't like he practiced with Carson Wentz. His first practice was after his 3-game suspension, and he comes out here and gets what? How many catches did he get? 9?
9 catches on 12 targets.
9 catches on 12 targets for 128 yards, and what should have been a touchdown? It should have been 40 more yards and a touchdown. Jordan Addison is so fucking good. He is. He's still so underrated because nobody knows. You don't have the good enough quarterback play with him next. And the fact that people like traded thing is ridiculous. It's not going to happen because he's JJ McCarthy's at this point favorite wide receiver and has the chemistry with them. But Jordan Addison's quarterback proof. Like people talk about Justin Jefferson being quarterback proof. I think that's really fair for Justin Jefferson, but Jordan Addison is really fucking quarterback
and like
every time.
And Carson Wentz said it today too. Like they're asking him during his press conference today. It's like, well, how's that chemistry? He's like, well, it's pretty easy to throw a ball when the guy's open by 10 yards.
Yeah. And
which
that was
back to last year. Didn't Addison have like the highest separation rate in the league?
Yeah, he did.
Or
he was like 1 or 2. He was 1 for a while, then 2. I don't know what it ended up being at the end of the season. But he had a 3-game stretch that was the best in the NFL, the most yards in the NFL.
Yeah, but the dude is just a supreme route runner, has amazing hands. Like I just don't get some people are, and that is the big thing. It's like he does just like you said, 2 strikes and all exactly. Ball. Like you do just have to keep it clean because it's just you are so talented and you just can't. At the end of the day, like you're putting your team in a bad spot if you keep missing games with your antics. So 100% for sure. But when the guy's on the field, like he is just
so good,
and he's big. He plays bigger than he is. That's the other big thing with him too.
Dude. He is
9 catches, 128. Jefferson, 5 catches, 79 yards. Should have had a touchdown. Probably could have had a couple. Wentz missed him on a couple deep shots there. Hawkinson 6 for 43 continues. Probably should have had a touchdown, but continues to be a little shaky out there. Jalen Nailor. Look, the numbers for Jalen Nailor aren't going to wow you. I mean, every game he doesn't 2 catches, 37 yards. But some of the scenarios and where he had his catches come in, especially for a guy that was dropping the ball early on in the season. Like Jalen Naylor has to get a lot of credit. And I do think next year there's probably going to be a team that he goes to that's going to give him more opportunity. But Jalen Naylor is one of those. He's playing very underratedly good this year, I feel like. And
yeah.
Again,
Definitely
show it. But everything that he's doing at the wide receiver position is very, very good. And for a guy that I believe some people on Twitter called him and said he sucks ass because of his drops in preseason, well, guess what? He's proving that when it's time for him to play, he's able to come up and make some big plays.
Yeah, I would say like you're hoping that you'd have like a third receiver or your tight end in this position that would be able to get like more opportunity, but or just like more yards and things like that. But it doesn't like that's how I was saying last year. And I'll be honest, because I was someone that was like definitely no Jalen Naylor, that has not been the case for him this year. I like every time he's had the opportunity, he's made big plays. He's had some touchdowns. He's caught passes when he needed to. He's been very, very solid as a wide receiver 3 that just hasn't had the opportunity that you might like for him. But yeah, I think he's been fantastic this year. Obviously, Adam Thielen, definitely a disappointment as far as like the trade that you made for him.
Yeah,
I would say I expected him to be a bigger part of this. Me and you thought we traded too much for him. For sure. We said we don't want anything more than a 6th-round pick, but I still thought he was going to do better than
like
this.
Wade Naylor's playing. I wonder if they're really regretting that trade now, because like.
Unless it's just like,
I guess they might have been concerned about the hand when they made the trade, because I know Jalen Naylor did have a little bit of the hand issue coming in from that last joint practice, but I don't know. But yeah, the Adam Thielen thing is still very odd.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of that, Josh Oliver, 1 catch, 9 yards. CJ Ham should have been 2 catches, but ended with 1 for 5.
Hopefully TJ's just fucking pissed now, and he just goes hard throughout the season. He's just, I hope he needs to be that guy that like keeps this, like, I know you don't want people to be unprofessional and like with the refs and in the press conference, but fuck it. Let TJ Hawkinson just call these refs out. Just let him be nasty. Let's get a nasty TJ Hawkinson. That's what I want. I want TJ Hawkinson that has a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah. But I guess, we'll hit on it one more time for switching to defense. Because not a lot of great things from special teams outside of Will Riker, who continues to be just amazing. What was it, 59 yards? That first field goal after the snap by Brandel.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of that, we have to talk about hit on Brandel real quick. Definitely didn't have the same center game as he did before. So it'll be interesting to see what happens going into this next game. If he'll continue being center, if they'll put Juergens in there.
Yeah, not a great game for Brandel. I mean, the interception was, you kind of put that on Brandel, the pick 6. Let Jalen Carter right through. I mean, not great. But yeah, Will Riker 5 of 5 on field goals, hit the 1 extra point. I mean, look, I remember after the first couple open training camp practices, people were very concerned about good old number 16. I think those concerns can be put to rest pretty quickly. The dude's an absolute nails for kicker. But defense, so incredibly up and down.
You forgot Miles Price.
Did he do anything?
He had a big punt return.
He did?
Miles Price?
1 punt return for 6 yards? You talking about kick return?
Kick return.
Okay. 20, yeah, he had a 38-yard kick return. Yeah, pretty good.
No, it was good.
Anyway, moving on to defense. Up and down day. So I would say what you thought, they definitely started that early. 6 runs. They ran the ball early. The first drive, they had some good runs in there. Was it the first drive where they scored that touchdown, or did we hold them to a punt on that first drive? Because I know they ran the ball pretty well, and then I know we got them into 4th down.
They tush push right away, didn't they?
They did. And by the way, interesting way Tyler Batty kind of down to try to stop the tush push. That was interesting. That was an interesting. I thought they had him stop. That was a very interesting way to try to stop that. We'll see if there's other teams that do variations of that, maybe with a bigger guy kind of being that middle guy that lines up sideways. Okay, that's what I thought too. And that's when they got. That's the thing. They ran the ball on us easy. They did. Then it got to 4th down. That's where we dropped 8, rushed 3.
Yep.
You can't be covering two great receivers for that long. And then after that, we had them locked down in the first half. Right, get the ball back to start the second half. I'd probably get into the red zone, kick a field goal, because that was the name of the game on Sunday. And then after that, I don't know. After that pass, and that's what I was worried about. I felt like this could be one of those games where maybe the passing game would finally click, and that it did. right? I mean, Jalen Hurts was off for his best statistical game in 2 years or over 2 seasons. 19 to 23, 326, 3 touchdowns. You got Devontae Smith, 9 catches, 183 yards and a score. AJ Brown, 4 catches, 121 yards, 2 scores. Other than that, we held the receiving game in check pretty much all day. That's good. But look, it's just the inability, and that's the big thing here. That's why we're missing knowledge. And that's a big reason we are missing Van Ginkel. Dallas Turner. Look, I've been trying to keep my hopes up for Dallas Turner. And again, maybe I might need to go back and rewatch some of Dallas Turner's play here. But look, you're just not seeing the impact from a pass rush perspective. I mean, maybe he's doing a good job containing. I know Kevin O'Connell today talking about him said he's been happy with how he's played so far. But this team in the pass rush phase, it's missing Van Ginkel, right? I mean, we were able to get some pressure on Hurts. But the inability to finish is kind of what killed us in this game. I mean, the big thing with Hurts is you got to keep him in the pocket. When he gets outside the pocket, he can make things happen with his arm, and that happened multiple times on Sunday. You just can't give a guy that much time and the ability to get out of the pocket because he's going to do exactly what he did. I mean, this was a get-right day for their pass game, and I don't know, man. I mean, 3 explosive big play touchdowns
and then critical spots that should not have happened. 2 of them specifically.
Absolutely. And then the last one, I mean, Isaiah Rodgers, we'll talk. Isaiah Rodgers fell for 2 double moves. Yeah. Not his best game, especially after the Bengals game. Does not give any excuse for the fans to do what they did to him after the game. That's uncalled for and embarrassing. No. It kind of makes you embarrassed to be a fan of the team when you see that type of outrage.
Yeah, but I don't
from some of the fan base. That's just, anything you say to players is just stupid. Taking it to that level, it's brain dead at that point. And
and this is fair, man. We have not been getting the same impact from Jonathan Grenard this year
because I think it's
pass rush pressure wise and stuff.
I think he's still up there on the pressure charts. But sack wise, no, the sacks aren't coming. But I do think a lot of that is because they load up on him, and the other side, Turner's still growing, still developing, and we'll kind of see what happens there. But I think that's a big part of it. I think they're just focusing more on Grenard now that Van Ginkel's been out. But
Van Ginkel, man, what a important part of this. Not even just from the pass rush side of things, just to get someone out there that makes plays, causes potential turnovers, just a knack for that kind of stuff, because that's something that we've desperately been missing this year on that defense.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like the biggest thing with this game was just the inability to finish. Like, we got to Hurts multiple times, muddied up the pocket, but we just weren't able to get to him. He was able to roll out and make things happen.
But we kept him contained on the ground. And
I guess another thing to bring up is, a big part of why I think our run defense was so good probably had a little something to do with because it doesn't seem like nothing that you're going up against one of the better rushing offenses in the league, and you get Blake Cashman back, and all of a sudden things just seem to be fixed. As it comes to the run game. And another interesting thing to point out is, like, you want to talk about making a big change. Not only did Eric Wilson start in place of Ivan Pace didn't have 1 defensive snap.
Wild.
That's crazy. And again, I think the absolute correct move, because look what Eric Wilson was able to do this game. Number 2 in tackles. 6 total, 1 solo, 1.5 sacks, a tackle for loss. Blake Cashman, 4 tackles, 2 solo. And a quarterback hit. Like, those 2 they got to be the starting linebacker pair the rest of the way.
Yep. Yeah, I know. Eric Wilson had kind of an off game last week, but definitely bounced back to have a really good one this game. But that's one thing too, is like, I don't know. There's probably a good chance that the game plan in this one was to just do whatever you could do, which we agree. I think was our number. No, well, technically number 1 was pick a quarterback. That didn't even make sense by the time we had the podcast. But I think number 2 was stopping Saquon Barkley in the run of Jalen Hurts. And we absolutely did that way better than we could imagine. 44-yard. Of course, this is how the season goes. Well, we have had 2 extremely dominant run stopping games, but 44 yards to Saquon on 18 carries, 19 carries. And then minus 10 for Jalen Hurts. But that could have been the game plan. Like, Brian Flores could have went in this one and was like, we are doing whatever we can do to make Jalen Hurts beat us with his arm and to stop that run. And even with the 3 players up front, and I'd have to go watch the play, but I'm sure you had a couple guys spying Jalen Hurts. You were just worried about the run, and you're letting there could be a chance that you're just stacking the box, and you're kind of being a little weak on the pass coverage of things.
Yeah, but look, they hit 3 or 4 big explosive plays before the inexcusable 3rd and 9, send the house and single up AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. Like that, I was watching with my family up north, and we were just like my dad's like, they can't be bringing everybody up to the line. Something doesn't seem right here. You're gonna on a 3rd and 9, which if they convert, the game's over. You're gonna single up one-on-one, man cover. Like, no, that was a bad play call on defense in that scenario. Like, I get it. You want to get to Hurts, make an errant throw. But man, in that spot where the game is on the line, I mean, in a way, you do got to respect the aggressiveness. But at the end of the day, like, that's just not the spot to be that aggressive when you need that stop. So
yeah, 3rd and 9.
I don't know. But it's crazy because like it was so good for the middle part of the first half, and even parts of the second half it was good. But it's just those big explosive plays that we normally aren't accustomed to seeing against this defense. So it's a really weird day overall for the defense. Great against the run, but man, you got chunked down the field often. It was just really strange.
Yeah. Yeah. So it'll be interesting moving forward here. Obviously, next on Thursday, we'll be doing our we have to figure out the exact time because obviously the game starts at 7:15 or whatever. So we'll have to figure that out for sure. But obviously the Chargers are next, and there's a lot of things to talk about there. But one thing we do know already, who's quarterback one? Well, at least this week, it is Carson Wentz, which does get us into some other things. Obviously, anyone that's been watching this whole podcast knows exactly where we stand on Carson Wentz. And I kind of think most Viking fans probably got to believe that, we're ready to move on from Carson Wentz. And like I said, even the biggest JJ McCarthy haters out there are probably at the very least ready to just throw him back out there instead of continuing going with Carson Wentz, because Carson Wentz isn't going to bring us to the Super Bowl, isn't really helping us win games that much. And on top of that, then you're sacrificing development of JJ McCarthy and all those things. And, JJ McCarthy came out today, or they tried, and anyone that thought about the soft benching and was completely wrong. They checked JJ McCarthy today to see if his ankle would be ready or not. And they decided that it's not. So it is Carson Wentz, which does bring me to, I was team, and going back to Cody here, I was team no Carson Wentz. You've seen enough from him. You got Max Brosmer out there. I know he's an undrafted quarterback, but he was a 5th-year senior. He's 24 years old. His processing was far better than I would have ever expected than him, but also better than a lot of rookie quarterbacks that I've seen. Just from a straight processing standpoint, which I believe is probably one of the, if not the most important thing as far as being a rookie quarterback and starting early, is how fast can you process things and not, sweat too much under a lot of pressure. What's going on here? And I think Max Brosmer, if there's one thing that he might be able to do, it's that. And I was team as well as some people in here that I think at the very least, I think you should have rolled with Max Brosmer unless, there's that internal conflict type thing where they probably don't want Max Brosmer to come out here, even though it sounds super dumb. But if Max Brosmer comes out and looks really good, then all of a sudden they're in a situation like JJ McCarthy or Max Brosmer and things like that, which sounds really stupid, but I could see it being somewhat of a real thing. And maybe you just would rather keep Brosmer's just waiting until it's absolutely clear that JJ McCarthy isn't the guy. But
yeah, I don't know. It'd be fun. I get it. Big gopher guy. The whole story. I wanted Brosmer here, basically right after college was over. But at the same point though, I just think if you put him out there and he's awful, then you're going to be getting a lot of people looking at O'Connell really? This is the movie made? Come on. So, and I just think it's more or less just with Carson Wentz, you feel like you can coach the shit out of him. You feel like O'Connell can probably get into his headset for a play, be like, okay, where we're at, nothing stupid. If you got to take a sack, get rid of the ball, all that type of stuff. With Brosmer, you feel like it would be a little bit more that has to go into it, especially on a short week. So look, as much fun as it would be on if it was a longer week and we knew McCarthy wasn't gonna be ready, I'd have that conversation. But on a short week, I do think Carson Wentz makes the most sense. Just from a standpoint of what you're gonna get at the very bottom. and
yeah,
you
it's
know
not good.
if he's on a good day, he can at least be serviceable.
Yeah,
and help you try
that's
to win
fair.
the game. But
I'm not
again,
surprised
Brosmer would be
at all.
Brosmer would be a lot of fun.
I'm not surprised, but I do think that it doesn't make I do think we're at a spot where you're better off seeing Brosmer get some action instead of Carson. Carson Wentz is like, it's literally feels pointless to have Carson Wentz out there at this point.
But I think, this does give them flex here. Like if he comes out and plays well, then they're thinking like, okay, we can just let the ankle get better for another week, do all that. And if Carson Wentz plays bad, then it's just like, okay, he's done. Like he's had 2 bad games in a row. We're moving on. So it's like, I think this gives them a lot more flexibility to make the call going into going into the Detroit game, to where it's like either way, it's not, because that's the thing. Like you said, like even if he plays well and they're like, okay, we're gonna put McCarthy in anyway, it's an easy transition. So it's like he was brought in here to be the backup, whatever. But if Brosmer comes in and plays well, then you're left with a whole other, like you said, a whole other issue that then you have to talk about. So I just think Wentz just makes the most sense, because it's no matter what, it's easy to switch off him and go back to JJ McCarthy if he's going to be ready for the Detroit game. But yes, like in a different universe where just we knew McCarthy wasn't going to be ready for weeks, then I'm just like,
not even a question.
Let's roll Max Brosmer. But
I'm still team. I feel like I'm still team. I think you should have. I think they should.
I disagree. I think it'd be fun, and it's fun to talk about.
I've just seen enough of Wentz.
I don't know. I just don't think where they're at right now that Brosmer would make a ton of sense overall. It'd be fun.
Only for the JJ McCarthy thing, I don't. And I do think you make a good point. Like if McCarthy's out for a while, you're like, fuck it.
Yeah, then you're probably thinking maybe you're thinking differently then. But
so I get that, but I don't necessarily believe that. That's like coming from the point of view that you don't want the internal conflict more than that should be the play. Like, which I get the internal conflict. I think at the end of the day, you
know that Carson gives you a better chance to win the game than Brosmer does.
I don't know that.
I do.
I do not know that.
I do.
Why?
Because he's played NFL. He has NFL experience with Brosmer.
Yeah, but we just saw him miss a million passes in the red zone.
Because if he comes out and he looks awful, then you're going to be getting everybody looking at you like, what are you doing? Like, why would you make this
at least you finding out what you get. Like, I've seen enough from Carson Wentz where I don't feel like, I think he comes in and he could definitely win us this game, but I'm not confident that he can come in and he just gives us the best. Obviously it was just preseason, but I was impressed by Brosmer. I compare just
I was impressed. I was impressed with him with the Gophers last year.
Like, that's why I'm just like with Carson Wentz. I haven't seen enough. I've seen enough from him to believe that. Like I'm not confident that he's just going to be the better quarterback than JJ McCarthy out there or Max Brosmer out there, because he had the bar isn't really set that high with Carson Wentz. Yeah. Like unless Brosmer comes out there and throws three interceptions and misses 10 passes in the red zone, maybe it's possible. We don't know. He's an undrafted free agent, but that's where the bar set after last game. You know?
Yeah. I don't know. Again, it'd be interesting. It'd be fun, but obviously
I'm not surprised at all.
I mean, obviously the choice was Carson Wentz, but again, I do think this just makes it easier to transition to McCarthy no matter what happens. Like if we win this game, it's like, hey, Carson, you got us what, 3-2 over your. How many games he started?
He was. What was he? He was 3-1, or no? I think he's 3-2 right now.
Is he?
Because the Bengals,
Steelers
lost, won Cleveland, lost to
Eagles. So he's 2-2.
2-2. Yeah. So he's 2-2 right now. Yeah. Right.
6 games. We played 6 games. Yeah, we're 3-3.
Yeah.
6 games. Yeah. Math.
Yeah.
Math is hard.
Yeah.
So he's 2-2.
So he is 2.
So if he gets you to 3-2, you're sitting there. It's like, hey, you did a great job, but it's time we got to start developing. We got to keep developing McCarthy. Or if he sucks, you're just like, all right, cool. You're our backup now, McCarthy. Go back out there. Like no matter what, it's a much easier. And it is a conflict thing. It's a much easier transition without any conversation, right? Like it's just like you brought here to be the backup, whatever. Because if Brosmer came in and played well, then you're just sitting there.
Right, like, it is going to be a thing.
Yeah, for
especially
sure.
with the fans. People
are going to be talking Brock Purdy, Trey Lance.
Yeah, which I'm team. Which I do understand that. And I'm not surprised that's the way they'd want to go. I do, and I'm team, like, regardless of how you feel about JJ McCarthy, if there's anyone out there that thinks Brosmer could be the better quarterback, at the end of the day, like, you have to, like, the best case scenario, no matter what, whether JJ McCarthy is good or bad, is to play JJ McCarthy and finding that out, because you did waste a top 10 pick. Even for the future of Max Brosmer, you're way better off finding out that JJ McCarthy has a long ways to go and then giving Max Brosmer a chance than doing Max Brosmer looking good, and now you're like this push and pull thing between them.
I do think though, I do think it's got to give you a good feeling that they think he's ready for Detroit. You know, basically it's just like, we just got like, if you like, I think they know McCarthy can be ready for Detroit, because otherwise there would be more conversation, I feel like. But I do think that the fact that it's just like, no, he's our starter, Carson. Well, you just know we got to get through one more
and
week.
It's short, and the short week thing or whatever. You're like, well,
I think the fact that,
it makes sense.
Yeah, I think I think it does show that they expect McCarthy to be ready to roll by Detroit. And look, it's tough, but at the same time, he's going back to the area where he succeeded in college. So we'll see. So
yeah. No,
it would not be a Viking season. The little quarterback controversy.
Hey, at least the Bears still suck. Yeah, I know. It's so fun. Like soon as
the Bears are 4-2.
Are they 4-2 right now?
4-game winning streak. Yeah.
Didn't they? Oh, they ended up. Did they end up winning last week?
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah, they're.
Nah, they're trash. Who did they beat?
That run game coming alive.
Who did they beat?
Who did they beat? I don't even remember.
Obviously, I mean 4-2. And they're on a 4-game win streak, and JJ McCarthy fucked that team up in the fourth quarter on his first game of his NFL career after being hurt for a full year. Holy shit.
They beat the
Saints.
Let's go.
Not good.
So they beat
last week.
Yeah, they lost their first two. They beat the Cowboys, they beat the Raiders, they beat the Commanders, they beat the Saints.
Okay.
Yeah, they beat the Saints yesterday.
So Saints, Raiders, trash. Cowboys actually trash this year so far. And then the Commanders is a solid W.
How are the Cowboys this year?
Trash.
Are they?
Yeah, they allow like by far the most receiving yards in the NFL, or rushing yards. No, receiving yards.
4-3.
They are.
Yeah.
I don't even know who they've beat. Not good.
Panthers, the Jets.
Yeah.
No, they tied to the Packers. I forgot about that.
Tied for the Packers. Yeah. Packers fucking.
They lost to the Bears, beat the Giants.
What up,
so yeah, they haven't beaten many teams. That offense is explosive, but
yeah, they and CD's back and stuff like that.
Pickens
so
look good.
Better. But yeah, they've allowed
Javonte Williams, but that defense is allowing a ton of points.
They've allowed tons of wide receiver or tons of yards over there. So
that's
so the Bears, I don't know. And it's just like the Patriots thing, and you made a really good point. Like
I saw that earlier, and I'm like, oh yeah, they really haven't played anybody.
Yeah. I know. So that's another thing too. So I don't know. I'm not on because mostly because Caleb Williams got me like 3 fantasy points last week or whatever. And I even told you that's why I wasn't sold on Odunze as far as being relied on so much for tutties, because I have to see more. I need to see bigger stretches from
I'm still happy. I mean, I know AJ Brown's had a huge game against us. I'm still happy I got rid of him.
Yeah. Brown's bones started. I know I have another buddy who traded AJ Brown too. So it's like the same and both around the same time.
Yeah.
And he's been changing things around ever since.
It's all right. It's all right. It's all right though.
But yeah, so I don't know. Going in again Thursday, I don't know what we want to do. We might get on for it's gonna probably be a shorter show just because we'll probably get on right before the game, maybe 6:30. And then just do a half-hour show going into the game, because generally we would go on around 7:30 or something like that. But obviously, we can't do that. I mean, we could have, unless we did a show about it or whatever, or a live show or show. What is this called? Show during the game. I don't know. There's a word for it. But yeah, so Thursday we'll definitely be back to talk about that game going into it, which should be an interesting one, because the Chargers are in what's the Chargers record? They started off as the hottest team in the NFL.
3-0, now I think they're 4-3.
Yeah. So they started off as the hottest team in the NFL, and things have went down. The offensive line is arguably been the worst in the NFL this year. I think they're bottom 5 PFF grades, regardless of how you feel about that. They're bottom 5 PFF grade in pass blocking and the worst in run blocking in the NFL. So I think that's going to be an interesting game there. I think we match up pretty good with them. I think it's a game that we definitely could win, but at the same time, they got Herbert. They got the wide receivers. If Quentin Johnson's not out there, I think that's a big miss for them. I think we match up pretty good. I think we can definitely beat that Chargers team.
Yeah, but yeah, you definitely can't let that receiver core do what the Eagles did to us this last week here. I mean, Quentin Johnston somehow learned how to catch a football. That's kind of wild. But yeah,
Chargers have a better head coach. Oh, T-Bass, there he is. T-Bass, Chargers have a better head coach. The Chargers will win. That's crazy, bro. The retarded pattern of the season says we will win. The retarded season says we will win. That is fair. That is fair. Like, we are bound. That's my biggest thing is, like, even I didn't want Wentz really going into this game, but I said this last week because I had us losing to the Eagles last week, which I think we should have definitely ended up winning, and I was hoping I was going to be wrong, and I should have been wrong. But I said and the thought was like JJ McCarthy wouldn't be back to the Lions, probably just mostly because of the short week. And my mindset was like, we just need to go 1-1 with the Eagles. And with Carson Wentz, we need to go 1-1. Obviously, we ended up not winning that Eagles game. So now it's like, we just need to beat this Chargers team because, one, you got some injuries back last week. Some big ones coming back, but they're all coming off of their injuries. They get an extra week of getting healthy, and now you're potentially getting more guys back, including Aaron Jones, including maybe potentially Andrew Van Ginkel, which would be huge. And then the week going into the Lions, you almost have it could be like a fresh start. So if you go into next week and we're 4-3 going into against the Lions, obviously a tough matchup, but your team is pretty much completely healthy at that point. I feel like we could have a different season ahead of us. Like, I think it's a fresh start, and your fresh start is with a winning record would be fantastic
for sure. And like you said, it's just kind of like the nice little mini bye, the little 10-day break before your next game. And again, I mean, it's not like it gets any easier because you go to Detroit and then you're home against Baltimore. And Lamar's probably back at that time, yeah, so you're gonna need as much strength as possible here. So
yeah,
but yeah, I mean, I think we at this point get through this game, find a way to win. Throw McCarthy.
T-Bass, see now T-Bass, now you're being just a pessimist.
Shocker. But yeah, just get JJ McCarthy back out there. Let him develop, and we'll see. Let's just see where the season takes us.
It would be 6-3. Yeah, we could definitely. We're so close. I mean, we haven't. Only the Falcons. I mean, even that. Like, there was not one game we just got smoked on that we shouldn't have probably won.
I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, you have to see what you got, and if he struggles, I don't care. You got to let him work through it.
Yeah, and even if your team Max Brosmer, I mean, I don't even want to say this. I want JJ McCarthy to be good, but if your team Max Brosmer, at least I'm sure that will be the next thing that happens. But JJ McCarthy, if you do find out that he's too far off or whatever, you still have Max Brosmer there as well. It's like, I don't know. And then I would rather find out more about them. I suppose we've said this the whole time, but obviously I think a lot of people have come around mostly just because Carson Wentz actually hasn't been playing that well overall. So it's kind of like you have no choice, but we better, like, Carson Wentz ain't making this fun. So we might as well play your rookie quarterback and see if he can do anything. But yeah.
Absolutely. So either way, though, I mean, yeah, disappointing loss. They had multiple opportunities to win that game against the Eagles, but at the end of the day, you're 3-3. The season's not over yet. Brighter days are on the horizon. Just get your young quarterback, take the training wheels off, and just let him go out there and just play his game. And
I think, at the end of the day,
at the end of the day, that's what I mean. And I think Alec Lewis said it best. Like, after the loss, he's like, now the rest of the season really does kind of come down to the development of your quarterback and making sure you have the right guy with this roster that we have, which has talent on it,
and to be able to find a way
to win, to be able to find a way to win, to win. You got to see if you have the right guy for that.
Yep. And I do think that all starts next week after this one. And this one is like, so if we can just get a W here, like I said, and we'll talk about it a lot Thursday, we can feel like we got a fresh start. And yeah, it's like starting the season over, but you have a winning record. And I think we're still like 25% to make play. I think we still have all the talent in the world. We definitely do. So I think good things ahead. Obviously, we still have a really hard schedule, but
we do.
That's a different thing.
Yeah.
Which that part sucks.
Yeah.
Could use a fucking easy W here, but whatever.
But at the end of the day, I just look, this season especially for us too, is all about the development of your quarterback. And
yeah,
you feel like we're finally close to getting back to that. And look, he's had his real game experience. He's gotten a chance to kind of sit, watch, reevaluate what he learned those 2 games. He's gonna hit his offensive line. I mean, he's gonna have Christian Darrisaw and Jordan Addison back out there for him.
The whole dad thing's probably mellowing out a little bit by this point.
Yeah, so let's roll. Brighter days ahead, and that starts 2 nights from tonight, pretty much 48 hours from right now.
We're winning that game
Against Chargers Thursday night. Get a W, get a 10-day break, and roll.
Fucking wreck the league, win a Super Bowl, find your franchise quarterback. Stay healthy.
Offensive line, Jordan Mason's a solid running back. Jalen Naylor's playing a really good wide receiver 3.
Aaron Jones might be back. Jordan Mason has been very solid. We've been injured. We're getting some of those guys back on offensive line. And they're coming back.
Let's see. So we've gotten the 5 linemen, the quarterback on the men, 2 receivers. That's 8 players. TJ Hawkinson, yeah, that's a struggle. Wide receiver 3 is good. Fullback, CJ Ham. It's about 11 players. It's a may start, right?
Yeah, Andrew Van Giegel, Jonathan Grenard.
All are reaching. Sure, whatever.
Jonathan Grenard.
I don't know what you're.
Isaiah Rodgers had a bad game last week, but otherwise he's been pretty good. The Vikings have had other than last week, they've allowed the least amount of receiving yards in the NFL. Obviously, the run game hasn't been great. Got a better one last year. That's like the run game is the one. Like if we can continue being better, obviously getting Andrew Van Giegel back and Blake Cashman will be huge on that. Hopefully. But if that's like the one thing I'm actually worried about, like we do have all the talent. We have we do have all the fucking talent. Like what teams are?
I mean,
have that many
you have 2. A lot of, I mean, you have 2 stud receivers and an offensive line where you have bookend tackles.
Yeah,
and Donovan Jackson, who's been playing pretty well.
We didn't even talk about Will the Thrill here.
You got a great kicker.
Fucking doesn't miss a kick this year. Still hasn't. Honestly, and then that's just the only it's back to the quarterback thing. That's just what it will end up being.
Yeah. And as we said, you got the team around him. Basically, you'll find out if your quarterback's got the right stuff or not. I mean, sure, the center play is still a question mark. Will Fries has been up and down this year, but he's been available and played every game. So, I don't know.
And not to mention, we should have beat the Eagles. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Still coulda. I mean, AKA, we're 3-3, and we easily could be
6-0 right now.
6-0 right now. No, 5-1. I'll say that 5-1. We could easily be 5-1. Which obviously you could say shoulda, coulda, woulda. But I'm just saying games are close. Like with all the injuries and everything going back, we have not been getting our asses handed to us yet. And that should be, I don't know. I'm surprised how pessimistic this fan base has. I get it from because there's so many injuries, that makes sense to me. But I'm like, and I thought we're going to do better, but I'm like, how is it people calling it a lost season already and stuff like that? That's wild to me.
And then you got the whole soft benching JJ McCarthy narrative. That's stupid.
Yeah,
I can't use the other word, but
even though Kevin O'Connell literally said today that they're going to start soft benching. Hey, you tried reading between the lines and it didn't work.
Yeah.
Never.
When you just read the words that are on the page, you'll see that it's fine.
Yeah, it was out there. You misinterpreted. I can't even say the word. Interpreted it.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, let's get out of here. Thursday, we'll be back on. We can talk more about this stuff. Too Evil and T-Bass with the McCarthy isn't hurt. He's going to come back.
Stay in the comments and argue amongst them. Or talk to agree with each other on their own time. But it kind of is what it is, I guess. But not everyone can be happy-go-lucky and positive. We do need the negativity in the fan base. But anyway, thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll see you guys on Thursday.
SKOL Vikes.